wanna be my lover.
Cause you are the best. Yes, you are. Cream, get on top. Cream, you will cut. Cream, don't you stop. Cream, boogie ball. Look up in the air, it's your time. Take your chance. It could only make you stronger. It's your time. It's your time. You got the horn, so why don't you blow it? Blow on, blow it. You're so fine. You're so fine. You're filthy cute and baby, you know it. You know it. Come on. Cream, get on top. Cream, you will cut. Cream, don't you ever stop. Cream, boogie ball. Cream, 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 boogie ball. Cream, cream, right there. Cream, don't you stop. Cream, boogie ball. Boogie.
I am. I'm just going to just doing a test. I'll let everybody know. We'll probably go in 5 minutes. And just a housekeeping note: we are filming, and if there's anybody that does not want to be, they can't hear me. Hello? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Up. I've got in the back. Up. Robin's going louder, louder. Testing 1, 2. Hello. There. Whoa. Feedback. We're good now? Everybody, can you hear me in the back? They saying boost it up. Testing 1, 2, test, test. Can you hear me back there by the hors d'oeuvre table? We're good? Okay. Oh, louder. Oh, okay. I have to put on my deep voice. Oh my God. We will go in about 5 minutes. We are filming for a documentary, so if there's anybody that does not want to be videotaped, please raise your hand. No. Yes, he's very discreet, so, but if you find yourself in the middle of a camera, raise your hand, say, I don't need to be filmed, and you will not be. So we don't want anybody leaving feeling that they will be in a documentary without their permission. All right. Appetizers will be at the back later on, so please enjoy yourselves, coffee, tea, and water, and we'll get on with the festivities soon. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I think now we will begin. There will be a few more chairs up front, so please, if you'd like to come sit down. And if you notice, if you're sitting on a chair with a sign, you will have to proudly raise that sign when you know who will be entering the room. But first, we would like to acknowledge that we are on Treaty 1 territory, traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and on the national homeland of the Red River Métis. I am Tracy Koga. I'm your MC for this evening, and I would like to call upon Elder Karen Swain to do an opening prayer, followed by a drum song performed by Elder Perry Francois.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for the invitation to join you today. I want to gratefully acknowledge my friend Rana, her family and friends for this really wonderful, wonderful occasion. Abajumashumasak bujunakomisak now kwijigu kwedishnaka sasawiginu anawe magan. And grandmothers and grandfathers, we want to come before you today and we want to give thanks for life. We want to give thanks and acknowledge all of creation that supports us, looks after us, watches over us, and blesses us with so many beautiful, beautiful things. And grandfathers and grandmothers, we want to come before you today and we want to ask in a good way for our beautiful city, for the future as we walk forward together in that kind and loving way, that you will open up those possibilities for our relative, that you will help for that support to come forward, that the truth will be seen of the kindness and love that she shows, for the strength and the compassion she has for all people of our city. We want to give thanks for her courage, give thanks that she's stepping forward to allow her name to stand in that good way. And grandfathers and grandmothers, watch over and protect her as she moves forward in her work. Watch over and protect her family and friends. Watch over and protect all of us in the city in that good way. And we give thanks and we ask that you will look after, watch over all of the vulnerable people, all of those that face those challenges. Help us that we might create a safer city, that we might build a stronger community, that we can come together in those good ways with that love and compassion under those 7 teachings. We give thanks to you, grandfathers and grandmothers, for life and for all of creation. Miigwech.
Bonjour, Tante. I'd like to share a song for Rana.
Thank you, Elder Swain, and thank you, Perry Francois, for the drum song. I am Tracy Koga. I am your MC for tonight, and I'm also the campaign manager for Rana Bokhari. And this is a very, very special moment. It's historic, and it is a special moment for our city. So before Rana Bokhari comes to the stage, we have a few close friends that would like to share their thoughts and feelings about the Rana that they've come to know and love. I'd like to call upon Chief Elwood Zastry, Wesqui Sepik First Nations, to say a few words.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank the Creator for having us all in this room today and keeping us safe to watch over each and every one of you and your family. I met Rana when I first became chief 7 years ago. When I first met her, she's a lively little person. And you know what? I got to like her right away. After the first week, me and Rana became good friends. In 2018, I hired her as a legal assistant to help us, me and my council from Wesqui Peak First Nation. She helped us with our contracts. She helped us with all our legal stuff that we needed to deal with. And I got to hang around with her lots. She came down to our First Nation. She's very transparent, and she's a loving person. She thinks of all the good things. When I talked to Rana and asked her, she said, "You know what, Chief, I'm running for mayor." I said, "You know what, Rana?" I said, "You're going to do a good job when you get in there. You're caring, you're kind, and not only to First Nations people, but to everybody. She's a good person. I'm so proud of her. Her family, she talks about her family lots, which is the most important thing in life is your family. So you got to think about that. You think about the people that you're going to be looking after in Winnipeg here. I told her that you got to think about them, all of them. Don't only think about certain stuff, think about everybody in Winnipeg, all the stuff that needs to be done and all that. I guide her in a good way. I pray for her in my smudges. And I hope that Rana gets in, and I will be so proud of her when I know she's going to help everybody. Not only here for certain people, she's going to be here for everybody. So I call Rana a little firecracker because she's always feisty and ready to go. And that's what we need in this city. We got to make good things happen for our people and for everybody in the city. And us First Nations people are starting to get more and more urban reserves in the city, and it's going to benefit everybody. Everybody's going to benefit. It's not just First Nations. All peoples are going to benefit with all the big things that we're going to be putting here in the city in the next few years. So I want to thank each and every one here, and I hope you guys could support Rana and push out the good news for her all over the city in our little journeys. I'll be praying for her as she does her journeys all over the city. Me and my council will be praying for her. So we thank you for everything, everybody. Miigwech.
Oh, thank you, Chief Zastry. I already feel the love in this room. It's just electrifying. So now I'd like to call upon a longtime dear friend, Krista Bruno Gunther. She is the proud owner of the Feast Cafe Bistro, and over this past weekend fed 1,200 people. Amazing. Please welcome Krista.
There was many of us that fed 1,200, but yes, we did. Tanse, hello, bonjour, everyone. Krista Bruno Gunther, proud member of Peguis First Nation. I have known Rana since I was 15 years old, so that was only like 10 years ago. Just kidding. I've known her for a really long time, since high school, and if there's one thing I can say about Rana is she's the exact same person that she was back in high school as she is today. And I think that speaks to true character. She is always consistent in who she is as a person and what she stands for. And I'm very proud to have known her for so many years, even though there's many years I didn't connect with her. And every time I see her, it's like we saw each other yesterday. And that's because of just how she glows and who she is. And she speaks her truth to you every time you see her. And I'm so proud to call her my little soul sister. And, you know, she is not only caring, like Chief said, like she actually truly cares about people. And there's just no way you can fake that. And she just can't. And I think that's what I love about her. She actually cares about people and her family, and she's always there for you if you need her. It doesn't matter how busy she is. And I keep telling her, I think you're a triplet and you haven't told anyone all these years, because she is everywhere all the time. Because if you need her somewhere, if you ask her for something, she is always there. She is giving and selfless, and she's highly intelligent. She is so smart. I ask her for advice with business, with everything that I have going on in my life. I'm always calling her, and she always picks up the phone. And she gives me such great advice. And I'm just honored to just be here to talk about her, and I can go on and on and on. You know, when she told me she was running for mayor, I just felt it in my heart that this is something that she is going to be so good at doing. And I'm just so proud that she is, she's taking on this challenge. And I think, what else could I say? I mean, I could go on and on. But I think most importantly is how much she knows about everything that's going on. And no matter what I ask her, she always has an answer, because she cares about all those details. She cares about the little things. And I think that if you care about those little things, then you're going to care about those big things too. And I think that's really important. And I'm proud of her. I could just cry. I'm honored to just be her friend. And yeah, that's it. Go, Rana. Oh, honest. That was the biggest thing. Honesty. That she's probably the most honest person. Her yes is yes. Her no is no. She speaks truth every single time. That's it. Now
So now you know Rana. Maybe. But it is truly amazing, and it is a testament to this young woman on how much love she has, but also more importantly, how much people love her. I got reacquainted with Rana about 5 years ago when we were both speaking at the same event. And not only was I impressed by how she spoke so passionately about diversity, inclusion, equity, and equality, but Rana really loves people, and she loves Winnipeg. She helped me build my dream by giving me support and listening. So tonight, it's my turn to listen and to support Rana in her dream. And I truly hope each and every one of you here do so too tonight. So without further ado, your future, your mayor, please welcome Rana Bokhari.
And make a mess, so I said quietly, agreed politely. I guess that I forgot I had a choice. I let you push me past the breaking point. I stood for nothing, so I fell for everything. You held me down, but I got up, already brushing off the dust. You hear my voice, you hear that sound, like thunder gonna shake the ground. You held me down, but I got up. Get ready, 'cause I've had enough. I see it all, I see it now. I got the eye of the tiger.
My goodness. I'm just going to take a second and take a look at all this. I wasn't expecting you all to be here, but thank you. Okay. Thank you, Krista. I love you. As Krista said, I've known her for a very, very long time. Chief Zastry, thank you for your words and your acknowledgement. And, you know, I've spent the last 7 years just being that ally, being that person that the community needed, and I can't tell you how much it means to me to be acknowledged for that, so thank you. Whew. All right.
There you go.
I want to thank Elder Karen Swain and Perry for your prayer and song and helping us start in a good way. I want to thank my community, the Shia community, for the du'as as I started this journey out last week. This isn't my first time in politics. You know that. And you might be surprised to see me here, because today I'm officially launching my campaign to be your next mayor of the city of Winnipeg. Now, you know who's not surprised is my mom, my beautiful, beautiful mom who's sitting up front and center. One of the most valuable lessons I've learned in my life, throughout life, the last decade or so, in and out of politics, is the value of people. I come from a long line of fierce, powerful, strong women like my mom. I also come from a determined line of men who shaped me and encouraged me to be fearless, men like my dad. I come from ancestors who spent their lives fighting for justice, for equality, for fairness of all humankind. It's in my DNA. That's why I'm here. I'm a person of the heart. I lead with my heart. But I've spent way too many years of my life trying to fit in. In my past political life, I played the role that I thought I had to gain a seat at a table and to lead in a way that had always been done. In hindsight, I think about all the young women in this room. You have spent your lives, like me, trying to fit into a box that was never made for us. But I can tell you, when you give up trying to fit in and you just be you, you'll realize the box doesn't actually matter. And that's when you lead as your true, authentic self. And that's what makes a great leader. As I stand here today, something is missing. Someone is missing. And I'm deeply feeling the loss of my dad, who would have been right here, front and center, as he always was. He died 2 years ago, and I've never done anything without him. So, if I'm honest, I'm scared. But fear doesn't shake me. I know who I am. I know where I come from. And I carry all the teachings passed down to me and those I learned in the easiest ways and the hardest ways. I was born and raised in Manitoba. Winnipeg is my home. Winnipeg will be the home of my future generations. But let me tell you how I got here. Let me tell you the story of how I became a farmer, a lawyer, and a politician. The best combination ever. And that story starts with my mom. My mom is the youngest of 7. Born in Pakistan, raised during the wars of partition. As a young woman with a grade 10-ish education, she married my dad. He immediately left to make a home for them in Winnipeg. 6 months later, she boarded a plane to follow him. Now, just imagine the experience for a moment. She was 17 years old.
This was the first time that she ever left her family, her community, her country, boarding an international flight in the 70s by herself, without a single word of English. But she learned very quickly. And she learned to navigate airports. But this is the beauty of my mom. She learns to navigate airports, that trip, that very first trip, by following families and copying what they did. Fast forward to 40-something years later, and that's exactly how I made my way to politics, by watching others and trying to fit in. But the next phase of my mom's life was the one where she began to shine. She built an incredible life with my dad. They were equal partners, entrepreneurs, dedicated to one another in everything they did. And shortly before I was born, they bought our family farm in Enola. And by the late 80s, my brother and I had 3 younger siblings, and we were living her values every single day, working on a family farm. Now, if we were to fast forward to my life, when I left politics, I stood up my law practice. And for the first time in my life, I stopped trying to fit in. Instead, I led with my heart, with my values, and with the same strength that I saw my mom exhibit throughout my entire life. That's what I did. I was a different kind of lawyer. I didn't really chase anything. I didn't chase money. I just did me. I pursued justice, equality, and fairness. I dedicated my practice, like Chief Lastry said, to First Nations. And I am touched to see so many of you here with me today. And I need to acknowledge some people, please. I know Grand Chief Satie is way at the back there. I'd like to acknowledge you. Karen Batson, former Chief of Pine Creek First Nation, I'd like to acknowledge you. You've been a great friend to me. Stephanie Blackboard, former Chief of Ochichek First Nation, I would like to acknowledge you as well. And I don't know if there's anyone else I'm missing, but I apologize if I did miss you. I've been privileged to walk alongside with you all, to fight with you. Beautiful communities, beautiful people who are thriving despite a history of genocide in this country. I want you to know that I carry your teachings with me into this next chapter of my life. And I promise to carry them with me to the council chamber at City Hall. My parents raised me to honor the powerful force of generations of strong and determined ancestors that I carry in my DNA. But they also raised me to build community. Over the past decade, I've seen my mom exhibit a level of strength I'd never imagined I could see. When my dad got sick, when my dad died, and she lost her partner of 47 years, she didn't fall apart. She kept our family together. She expanded her own capacity to love and to support us all. Some people might wonder, why would you come back after 7 years? It's really simple. That same strength that my mom has demonstrated her whole life runs through my veins. That fearlessness, that willingness to do whatever it takes to be successful, to make that change, to make that meaningful difference, it runs through my veins. The commitment to people around her is the same commitment I have to people around me. My mom had 5 of us, so she created a community within our family. I don't have any kids, although I do have the most perfect niece, the love of my life, Zaira Rana Bokhari, who's somewhere outside crying. But my calling is to build community around me. I am the proud daughter of Sayed Tache Rana Bokhari. I am the proud daughter of first-generation immigrants. And I'm excited to kick off my campaign to be your next Mayor of Winnipeg. And I do so standing on the shoulders of the strong and powerful people who came before me. Winnipeg is a special place For all of history, it's been a place where people have mattered. In this area, Treaty 1 territory, where we all stand today, the original peoples of this land would gather, trade, and build community. I am grateful to be a guest on this land. I want to acknowledge the Anishinaabe, the Cree, the Ojibwe, the Dene, the Dakota peoples, and the Red River Métis nations. I want to thank them for their commitment to sustaining this land for us, to caring for the waters for all of us, and for their teachings about how we all need to think about the next 7 generations in all our decisions. It's all about community for me. And that's why I'm so grateful to see you all here today. My family, my extended family, my friends, my community members. You are people who make my life rich and vibrant. You are my community. But over the past 2 years, our broader community has come through a lifetime of challenges. The pandemic forced us into our homes and exacerbated inequalities. It shone a bright and ugly light on the disproportionate effects of crisis on the most vulnerable in our city. Those inequities that had been hidden in darkness for so many years blazed under the spotlight of a pandemic. The past 2 years placed an impossible burden on the shoulders of parents. They added homeschooling and parental care to their already long list of domestic work and job responsibilities. There was an unprecedented migration of women and other historically marginalized folks away from the labor market. Lots have gone back to work now, but many chose to downgrade their careers because they are simply burnt out. And they weren't the only ones. The pandemic revealed deep gaps in our mental health network because nobody is immune to loneliness. Citizens of all ages, socioeconomic status, culture found themselves struggling with depression, anxiety, and other effects of living under constant stress and isolation for 2 years. Public servants, our frontline workers, they didn't have the opportunity to slow down. They faced the same challenges we faced as individuals, but they had to keep the city going at the same time. 22 has brought on a set of new challenges. We've experienced one of the harshest winters on record, and now we're plagued with flooding that's threatened our neighbors, our families, our cottages. Climate change is real, and we can't escape its impacts. Between climate-related migration and the impacts of war overseas, Winnipeg has become a new home for generations of immigrants. People who have left their homes, their families, and their land to come here for a new start. But what do we have to offer? Place and our sense of belonging is an important part of our identity. But right now, Winnipeg isn't a city that helps us feel like we belong. One thing I learned over the past 7 years, focusing my entire law practice on serving First Nations, was a concern of community members worrying about what would happen when their relatives get on a bus to come to the city and find themselves in downtown Winnipeg without any supports. Because we have lost our sense of community and connection. And because of that, they lose themselves. Winnipeg is ground zero for missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. We are in the midst of a mental health crisis, and all we want to talk about is potholes. Which, don't get me wrong, we don't want this to get spinned out of context. Listen, I don't like potholes as much as you guys. I blew my own tire a few weeks ago, and I get it, it sucks. Potholes are important, but people and possibilities are important too. The truth is, our whole city is crumbling. Our roads, our community centers, our bike lanes, and most importantly, the social infrastructure that binds us together as a community, the services and programs that help us feel like we belong here. what I want more than anything is for Winnipeg to be a city that fosters individual possibilities. A city where, please. A city where every person has an opportunity to grow and prosper within a vibrant community that sees and values them, that lets them bring their whole selves to the community. This is a city where the people who've always had a seat at the table start to create space for the people who deserve to be heard, our youth, women, Indigenous communities, 2S LGBTQIA folks, and new Canadians. Because our diversity is our future. And if you didn't believe that, I would suggest you take a look around in this room. This is a place where we all work together to co-create our future, where we listen to citizens, not just for what they're saying, but also for what they're not saying, for what they're afraid to say. It's a place where we recognize that we have a responsibility to our children and our grandchildren to not just fix potholes, but to also focus on people and to create possibilities. This city, this Winnipeg of my vision, I think of it in 3 words. It's trusted, it's connected, and it's envied. First, it's trusted. It's ethical, accountable, responsible to make good decisions, not just for Winnipeggers today, but for those who will be here 7 generations from now. Second, it's connected. This means individual potential is fostered within community, connecting people to the resources they need to stand on their feet and be successful. Finally, it's envied. It's a city where people want to live in, a city that draws people here because it fosters exactly what they need to build the lives that they deserve. A city that keeps people here because it provides exactly what they need to belong. A city that other communities look to for inspiration and leadership. So how do we get there? How do we build a city that's trusted, connected, and envied? As I see it, we need to focus on 3 things: community, prosperity, and sustainability. First, community. Our city needs to focus on connecting people. We need to create spaces where everyone from our kids to our elders are safe, included, and engaged. We need to see value in one another. We need to connect across generations, culture, and geography. To build community, we need to cultivate care, revitalize recreation, and secure the safety of all our neighbors. Because when people feel like they belong, when they're seen, valued, and connected, they're part of something bigger than themselves. Community is a powerful force for good, and our greatest asset as Winnipeggers is the people of this city. It supports, shares values, collaboration, and an intangible quality that makes our neighborhoods full of vitality, energy, and possibility. Second, prosperity. Winnipeg needs to focus on strengthening prosperity. This is about creating an environment that allows people to succeed, where sky is the limit and the city is a partner in individual possibilities. Prosperity grows from healthy communities and helps individuals own their own potential. So I'm going to say that again. Prosperity grows from healthy and connected and thriving communities. That's how we do it. Affordability of our city is key to prosperity. We need to stop growing out and start growing up. ensuring development is not just there for development, but meets the needs of communities and provides safe, affordable, and vibrant spaces to attract people to our city and to help put roots down and stay. And prosperity also means optimizing opportunities by ensuring equity of access for all members of our communities. Seeing the value of individuals is what you're probably hearing today. It's exponentially more powerful when we also provide the tools and support to help everyone be successful. Finally, sustainability. We can't just focus on the now. That's what got us here. We need to build a city we will grow into, with people, resources, and the future at the heart of every single decision. The problem is we've been taking an isolated view to solve any and each problem, and that just doesn't work. Our city is a system. It's not a series of independent departments. Decisions made in one area have implications and consequences across the entire system, just like the environment. So let me give you an example. A few weeks ago, Maria was driving her 3 kids to a soccer game at the big complex at Garden City. Shockingly, she hit a pothole, if you can believe it. Her tire burst. Now, rather than stopping on McPhillips, she pulls into the parking lot. The extra driving, which is just a little bit, she damages her tire and her rims. So now she's calling a tow truck because she didn't have a spare. So they wait for 2 hours for the truck to arrive. By that time, she has toddlers in the back who are clearly very unhappy, and if you saw my niece, you know. They don't like waiting around. They had missed the game. Sitting in the car, like I said, is not a lot of fun for kids. As a mom, she's panicked. And in her mind, she's thinking, I just saved up all the money I could to buy this van. She couldn't afford a tow truck. She certainly couldn't afford another tire and rims. So she pulls out her credit card and pays for the taxi home where she meets her sister. At this point, she's already late for work. She missed a soccer game. She's going to leave the kids in the van with her sister and walk to work, which is just across the street. But she's already missed 5 days of work because she had COVID that hit the whole family. And now she's afraid of getting fired, which is clearly not going to help anyone's mental health. But again, she was already struggling before she hit that pothole, wasn't she? Do you see what I mean? It's never just about potholes. It's about an entire system that has to work together to support people. A sustainable city considers its environmental impact, its infrastructure, and its financial and administrative systems, with the understanding that they are all interconnected. They have to be considered together. My vision is considering them all together. But to do this, we can't do it alone. We need to support a culture of innovation and collaboration with the public service. And we have to invest in building a relationship of respect and shared values with the provincial government. None of this will be easy. It will not happen overnight. And let me be honest, I'm not running to be a one-term mayor. I'm running for 2. A change of this magnitude takes more than a few years. So I'm setting out a vision that it will outlive my terms. This is a 6 to 8 year plan, a time frame where we can actually advance change. I have no reason to make broken promises. It doesn't help anyone. So we have to think long ahead. What's the 10-year plan? This is a plan where we can commit to a vision and execute it, where we can establish systems and policies and values that serve as a strong foundation for our future. And I want you, and I invite you to help me shape this vision, because this vision is for all of you. You are at the center of it. Your children and grandchildren are the ones who will inherit it. Over the next 3 months, you will find me wherever you find community, in your neighborhood, in your parks, at bingo, festivals, and your front doors. I want to know what community prosperity and sustainability means to you. I want to know what kind of Winnipeg you want to build. And I want to know what possibilities are in your future when you're supported by a city that you belong to. So come with me. Help me shape this vision. Help me build our Winnipeg. Help me connect to our future together. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, that concludes our program for tonight. Thank you all for coming, and I do have an announcement to make. Now, after that speech, can we please make sure you all sign the nomination list? You will not be let out of this room without it, no. Please sign. We would love to have you come on board as a volunteer, a supporter, for donations, but most importantly, we need the nomination list. And as well, don't forget to vote October 26th, and I don't need to remind you on who to vote for. Thank you so much. We're going to be in your communities for the next 3 months. Drive safe and enjoy the evening. Rana is now available for the media behind there for interviews. Thank you.
And
Detroit players. Tim's for my hooligans in Brooklyn. Dead right, if the head right, Biggie there, every night. Papa been smooth since days of under rules. Never lose, never choose to. Bruise, cruise, who? Do something to us. Talk, go through us. Girls want to us, wanna do us. Screw us, who us? Yeah, Papa and Pump. Close like Starsky and Hutch, stick to clutch. Yeah, I squeeze 3 at your cherry M3. Bang every MC easily.